So you guys appreciated my dive into BAZAAR from 3 years ago. What we received is a polished version, but very stripped away from all the features and shiny alien burritos, guys. And I have collected 62 missing features. I want to see what else is hidden. It's a very, very suspicious decision to strip away so many features when we're testing its beta, right? It should be feature-rich still to this point. We're paying for the game to be able to access it, and we get a bare bones experience. I mean, it's kind of weird. I can sort of understand the not the barred classes, I guess, right? We only get 3, so we don't get bored. We come back to the game when new classes are introduced. But let's see. I still have 2 hours of footage to watch. A mini game. How long do I have to scroll until I find BAZAAR? The BAZAAR. Okay, here it is. Again, a little bit of context. I actually watched the video beforehand when it was released, and I was not capable of paying it too much attention. But now that we can compare it, it is crazy. This is January or February? Yeah, at the start of the year. It's basically 3 years old footage. And some of the features were just like tossed away. Like unlocking greater inventory. We could have had that, you know, pay a little bit of money. Strategic move, I would say, when you want to enlarge your inventory, or you have to just, you know, tighten your belt and not do that just yet. When you buy up and fill up your inventory with chocolate, that's also a strategic move. Like, shit like this shouldn't have been stripped away. I understand that it's very difficult, and potentially when new game developers come in, you want a like a cleaner version so they can quickly figure out what's going on. Who knows exactly what the reasons are? The biggest strip that I'm really upset about is this little place that I will reintroduce. This is strength, defense, I imagine, and speed. Speed being a little bit sus of a mechanic across all the games, because introducing like 100% reduction of cooldown, all of a sudden, you don't have any cooldown left. So you can't even do 100%. You can only do 99 speed at max. You have to have a max cap, but if you do a different sort of math, you can go 2x, 3x. You will never run out of cooldown reduction if you go the other way, you know. So speed is a little bit of a sus mechanic, but everything else, I do appreciate the strength, the defense, just kind of buffing the items, and being a number that you can access and use for certain abilities or double it, right? And you're able to see it in the first place. Then there's this poison and fire damage over here. Graphically, you know, I appreciate the way it looks right now. Graphically, like, yes, the game has advanced. It has stripped away these, like, animations. We don't got animations when the game released. Maybe I'm wrong about certain things. You can correct me in the comments. That's fine. I'm just trying to, like, run down what I see that I would love to have. Like a giant lollipop. Why don't we have that? Ah! By the way, I updated influence tracker because it crashed. And now I have this! The mini game. Yes. My world record is 580. I even uploaded a video about this. This is a 1-day game that I've made. Not for any games. It just happened. You know, I'm working on this grid system where I can summon any grid, and I'm like, shit, I can definitely make a game out of it. Uh-oh. It does turn things into score. Not convenient right now. I found this really fascinating for a game. I don't want to spoil it almost, the way I do this strategy, so I'm not going to comment, but I just do my thing right now. Yeah, let's fucking go. Ooh, let's go. Oh, I failed. I failed miserably. Ooh, no. I think I can deal with this right now. Ooh. It's a toughie. Somehow, like, this was never invented or popularized, even though it's just as cool as Tetris to me, to try and squeeze that fucking score and learn principles that would do it. Anyway, that's a side track. We had... well, sin counter, because everything that has been removed is a sin, and I hate to see it. I hate to see them alien burritos going through the entire tease, you know, and not being in the game at the moment, or at least I haven't seen it.
I don't know if we can 1,000.
Mostly the biggest thing, I don't think this character, whatever the name is, actually feeds enemies anymore. I think that was stripped away. That's a big ass mechanic, just straight up gone. We haven't seen this thing being introduced, so we can only assume, obviously, like, you would kind of push the mechanic aside because the other creatures or characters are not supposed to have it. That's fine-ish, but it's still kind of sad at the moment that we don't have confirmation, right?
Health is just too much.
Here it is. This is where we stopped, but damn, bro. Damn. Does that even have, like, this...
I'm gonna die. Let's buy more food.
Yeah, there's zoom in 3D effects. Fucking crazy. So, unfortunately, we'll have to train our eyes, and I will read it to you guys. This small font when a new item pops up that we haven't seen. So yeah, the mechanic was called Joy. And for a 3-second cooldown, but with a little bit of speed, it can go all the way down to like 1 second. Who knows, right? It's just a scaling item, but it's a giant item. It's kind of fascinating how, like, low power level these items were initially. And I personally like tiny numbers because they're like, you feel like you're more in control of tiny numbers than just like a bunch of 200, 600 damage type of things. When the fire starts stacking to 600 damage, there is a danger of not killing the opponent or something like that, or the game lasting too long because of tiny numbers. Who knows, but it's, I prefer that.
So it's really low cooldown.
In fact, I have to tell you guys that secretly, I appreciate Marvel Snap more and more, and its design away. And if I ever lean with Pokia, which is the thing that I will do for 2 months as a challenge, to see how far can I push my game development powers to deliver something as similar to BAZAAR as I possibly can. Well, in terms of power level, obviously the mechanics are going to be different. I'm exploring a new design space and all that shit. But on my own, all right? And because I'm very good at not stripping away features, I have a pretty good feeling that 2 months is more than enough to create something decisively good, right? Except the only thing I will be stripping away is sound, because fuck that. Still too complicated, even with AI tools available. I'm not exploring that right now. I can only do images for that, and that's a speed. That's a skill of speed for sure. Anyways, you'll see. I'll start at January. After the new year, I would just fucking start speed running. Adjacent weapon freezes.
Yeah, let's do.
Now, freeze items are not to be sentimental about, but cool swan. I don't know. Very, very cool. I hope it's not stripped away, you know. Let's see if we can get bigger sin counter for this one.
Good.
For the swan. A new start.
So this has
Another giant thing that was stripped away. First of all, you can choose between 3 opponents. And you see the way the battle went. How each of you dealt damage. And which items you had. Being able to look at battle statistics. Why has that disappeared?
you guys were asking if
It's
positioning.
crazy. I'm kind of missing in BAZAAR, like, recovery items that when you have lower amount of health, you use some kind of special effects to recover. When you're, like, on the edge or your opponent's on the edge, you can fucking throw something. To claim victory, that's like a one-time use items. There's a lot of ideas that I've never seen in BAZAAR. But this is the video. This is the greatest tease of all time. Like, to show a feature and it just disappears like a mirage. 3 times strike cast. Okay, cool.
To buff this card.
Are you sure though? Buff? Buff something that we never seen. Anyways. Cool. Okay, this one's strong. Damn.
I kind of
Advance your other medium items by 2 seconds. Okay. When you use an adjacent meal, give it +3 joy for the fight. I think all of the things that give joy usually are meals. Oh, it could be ingredient too. Interesting.
yeah, my build is kind of past the point of
I
like.
did not see the rice cooker very well. I don't think I can capture it. Oh, not even rice cooker. Something else. It doesn't even
kind of
pop.
past the point of like he had.
When I've seen the development of this game, I've also seen many sins committed just spending fucking entire day just finding the right colors for the picture. Almost wasting too much time. I hope the same is not being done with the features themselves. Where out of 20 things, just one pathway is being chosen and everything else is discarded and treated as trash. Like, you know, all of this is much worse. It feels a lot worse if the vision just lost forever of the game and no more experimentation is going to happen and some features completely die despite being somewhat interesting to look at already. When I'll be making a game, I'll be very careful with scaling. But at the same time, I won't be able to even do scaling. The items will not go off that many times. Scaling is a very scary thing to attempt to balance. And usually scaling items are going to be better than not scaling items. It's just like, scaling items are comparable with textless items in Hearthstone, right? Enemies with effects. You compare with fucking Boulder Fist Ogre. It's good stats for the cost, I guess. It's the scaling that makes most of the BAZAAR builds, and I don't know if ArenaNet addressed that idea very well. But there's actually a lot of scaling items too, so I guess that's fine. You know, it's almost like leaning a little bit too much into that realm, I would say. And even here, you can already see it basically being the dominant strategy.
Have you ever got mad at this game? Not really.
Wow, I wish I could do that.
Part of it's because like so much.
No, part of it because he's in control. When you're in control of something, you literally can't get mad. That's the whole point.
Stuff is in flux and.
Oh, flux. Oh, that explains everything, actually, yeah.
Dev brain.
I know when I play my games, I can't possibly be upset about anything besides bugs that I have to fix. Otherwise, I will enjoy it because I will expand into any direction I like. I have full control over the game. It's like, give me that. Give me that grid. I can't do it. I can't do it wrong. It will turn sin counter into a score. I can't do it right.
I'm showing you guys kind of the roughest behind the scenes builds.
Yeah, it's so rough right now, but I want to have it over whatever the fuck we're having. A different build, how about that? Yeah. This one died. Oh shit. When you use the left item, burn. When you use the right item, enjoy. Honestly, looking good on that one.
Just to kind of give you an idea.
Yeah, and a lot of sadness. When you use a weapon, give this for joy for the fight. Well, that will never happen.
Alright, we gotta get... Can I kill this guy?
Pretty sure he killed 3 awakened districts.
Even 2,000 health.
3 of them were killed. Oh, but I think he switched characters though. Yeah, very, very, very much so. Okay. I think it was Pygmalion?
I don't know if I can kill.
Well, that's the fun of it. Try it.
The art on Landscraper got bugged in this build.
What? There was Yum 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 in the soundtrack? Okay. It is double sin.
Does the game have lore? It does, yeah. It is.
Oh, sure. It's the mistakes that made me lose. Oh, yeah. It's the skill issue, guys. Skill issue. NPC showed up. Elaborate, though.
There's a lot of lore that play out.
It's not necessarily a skill issue for me, but there's also game developers that have to have skill, It's not just me playing the fucking game. There's people building the game too. It's not an isolated event where the gamers put into this ultimate test. And the skill issue merely means that you have to try again and get a better score by knowing more things. Like, give me a fucking break, dude. It's the dumbest thing. Skill issue maybe at school.
Is definitely.
Why is it going down?
Get a Netflix series out. Let's get a fucking theme park.
Why is it going down, Lollipop?
Merch.
It's supposed to go the other way. Where are you going, Lollipop? Although it does make sense that the Lollipop would get licked. It's -1 joy. What? So it sucks balls. It's a giant thing that loses joy. Raynat, do something about it. This is really bad. It has low cooldown though, so it's like a special item in that sense.
Do you have a release date? Do you have a release date ready?
Oh wait, this is the best joke ever.
Yes.
This decade. Shit, this just fits in as long as you have 2 adjacent small items. Just fits right in. Right? Well, you're doubling up your small items basically in exchange of whatever you have laying around. Huh. Well, in any ways, I want the toaster, please. 13 seconds cooldown. Get out of here.
But I don't want to get...
I mean, if you have enough speed, you can buy a freezing 13 seconds item, but like, you gotta get 60 speed or something.
In at this point is like upgrading my items more than anything. It's hard to justify swapping them out because I've been upgrading them a lot, so they're pretty strong.
It would be very interesting if all of a sudden all your items disappeared for the final rounds and you have to quickly scramble a build across a bunch of merchants, right? No, you just get a full day, but you have to scramble that final fight build. There's a lot more ways to approach this sort of gameplay in order to force the player to do more engaging things. As one person, I need to take advantage of anything I can, so this game being released is gonna be a big motivating factor and a big roadmap of how should I do my game if I try to do something like this. Because there's not a lot of things I like to try in a way, you know. That's Raren's way of doing things, and I don't think he dug out anything interesting besides Balatro. Balatro was definitely a hit moment to consider in a way, actually. Yeah, absolutely. Because you would purchase items if your items lose durability. If there's a reason to constantly replace them. Rain is burning.
A 50 burn. I'm just burning to death.
What is this daze, though?
Every half I'm taking.
I imagine it slows you down, actually. So, not only you can go up in speed, but you can go down in speed. Who would have thought, right? That's the assumption. There's space for those kind of effects, basically. And sounds pretty good to me.
50.
Oh, we got it. Come on. Cooldown charge at half speed. Okay, that's the slow effect.
Good.
Let's remember what the burrito does. Plated. Or burn. Why was he keeping the burrito that's barely like 6 times? Like it's at 30. It's not scaling item though. And then he keeps bragging of like, oh, I could easily get rank 1. You sure about that?
Wow, these upgrades suck. I can make it.
Yeah, the bad thing about this sort of like percentile scaling is that going from 80% to 90%, or like 70% to 80%, this is an insane difference. And I really want to give you guys a clue. This is like a 2x difference. This, maybe 1.5x difference. It's like 1/3. So it would be 1.5. And this is double. It's absolutely insane to do these percentile scalings. Unless it genuinely gets harder and harder to reach the 100, but no, it's the dumbest idea in gaming history, or maybe in even more applications than that. It's just my personal, discovery.
So we can lollipop again.
Let's see, upgrades for lollipop. No more losing joy or permanently gets. Well, that's cool. Permanently, at the start of that's cool shit, man. Where's that upgrade for other items?
Normally, when you lollipop, it loses a joy, but the tempered one stays the same.
What the fuck? Permanently aquatic? That's a very weird. What? Give a tag effect? I've never seen that yet. Deal damage to yourself. Also, very rare effect, specifically physical damage. Never explored fully.
This looks really cool.
Ow? Looks terrible.
So that's kind of a nice thing, it's like the longer you play it, the more you enjoy playing it. And
objection, I guess. It's just like every other card game where you build knowledge and comfort, and then you just You're just happy knowing what everything does and finding little interactions in between. Sure, it's just how every card game works. Except this one kind of sucks because it's auto battler. Now I'm not gonna shit too much on the this idea because I like Robot Wars, but in Robot Wars you're not just building a robot, you're also like operating the robot. So no, it does not. I don't even know what to compare this game to be honest, when it comes to auto battler idea. Even though it's executed like flawlessly, right? This could still be an issue.
I think.
But for me, you know, when I build my game,
roll
could be an issue for me. Rain at no mercy just freezes everything.
You don't make inputs during. It's like there's some special events for the characters too. For example, Jules is.
While below 50% of health, your joy effects cause 2 joy more. You get a life even from cuddles.
So you can.
By the way, the prestige idea was never fully like used, right? You're not able to get prestige besides wishes, and kind of pretty sad. It's also something you would be able to buy potentially in BAZAAR. Prestige, man. Because in BAZAAR, everyone believes in your build. Your build is so cool. You get prestige from sparring partner. That would be fucking insane. It would be insane, bro. So it's a lighthearted video, this one and the other one, in hopes that, you know, they will use it to speed boost themselves into bringing some ideas back and reminding themselves that they might have tossed something in the trash. I am never an ill will person. Unlike all the haters that I have. Oh shit, 90 armor just like that? And it's useless.
Well,
because it only buffs
you need a few different things. You can get an extra life, but we don't really need one. It's the last day.
Are you sure? Are you so confident?
I'm gonna get some extra armor. Because why not?
Where are you gonna use it though? Like, what? Pretty sure armor works just like strength and it boosts the shield items.
Or I can upgrade some stuff, or I can fully heal.
So it was a part of the game to take damage? What?
Sure, I'll take a little speed.
Again, it's a good idea that you can't just plow through a bunch of enemies and get like experience or good value items. You need to heal. Because I got this NPC comment, I want to quickly give it a KO, a reminder. Game is in beta after 8 years. That one's easy, bro. None of these things. I can complain any moment I want. Doesn't matter what the state of the game is. You know? It's my complaint also does not completely obliterate the game or change it any way. I'm just complaining. That's all I'm doing, you know? I see a missing feature or I'm not interested in the game enough and I just will complain. It's like, what the fuck? NPCs still piling up, saying the same shit. Second of which being skill issue, bro. The dumbest thing you can possibly say, especially to me, because I play a variation of things. I don't play meta. Like, relax, bro. I don't want to see meta the moment I queue into some bronze fucking players. Like, are you kidding me, bro? I lean towards something that's, like, powerful and decent, like fire damage. And scale items and just normal strategies that don't necessarily make me weak, but fucking skill. That is the stupidest thing and hardest to prove as well. Or even define. NPCs, I hate that shit. That is an easy one to prove, that they're just running around and yapping the same shit over and over again, thinking that they have power within those arguments.
So every half
another lighthouse build.
second, I take 30 and then it ticks down. And see, like we got close to killing them. I burn at least like
Oh, he doesn't need extra life. I think I made fun of that. He lost. He didn't take extra life. He just took fucking armor that doesn't do anything. What the fuck was that, bro? Reynad.
lower health than
Reynad, rank 1 Reynad. 100. Definitely not a skill issue right there, bro. And game developers. What the fuck, man? I love when those moments happen, bro. It's crazy.
time do you have? Like, how many reasons do you need for why I'm not playing Hearthstone? You know, it's 2022,
You can still play it sometimes.
right?
He's playing with his hair instead of Hearthstone.
Okay.
How dare he? Oh my god, it's a bold Reynad.
Chat in the game.
So, lucky for us, even though we wasted half of the video already, well, it's gonna be over soon. Actually. It stops at 3:30. It stops at 3:18 when Reynad loses again. For being too high ranked.
Chat in the game, but
Am I right?
play. I don't think you guys have seen Stell yet. I'd love to play Met though.
It's cool what they did with Dooley, you know, but who knows if we're gonna get the same cool shit. I mean, classes are definitely very different from each other. It's not difficult to achieve that, but the way the colorful the game is, I mean, the difference even more exaggerated.
If the music should be like a cosmetic that you can own and trade and stuff. Same, you can equip whatever soundtrack you like the most.
Yeah, skill issue also is such a stupid thing to say. I literally cannot react to my opponent besides their class. Like, excuse me. And I cannot even choose my opponents. How about that? Just see it last fucking flash moment. Well, can you be this class? I don't know what they're doing, bro. And even if you would be able to see it, there's not a lot of things you can do to change the outcome of the battle, because everything is so somewhat generic. Anyways, that aside, haters do fucking steal my time, guys. You must understand. You might want to help.
Should we get the
At some point. Barricade. And armor permanently.
10 armor.
What? It's trash.
10 armor. Armor's pretty cool. It basically means the start of each.
It's not even what I thought it does. It's actually trash, but at the same time, it just shows how many different types of buffers. I'm not sure how to call these, to be honest. Like attributes, character attributes, to gain armor at the start of each. That's such a lean towards Slay the Spire idea of just like auto healing, basically. Because yeah, he lost some health and it just like stays like this. I still like the idea, but obviously it does not buff. Yeah, it does not buff your shield items as I thought. So what are these skills? When you gain speed, heal. Double sandstorm damage, okay. I love the sandstorm idea, bro. To force it and just fucking use it as a weapon. In a way, it kind of shows how many ideas Hearthstone have never really explored, because pretty sure a lot of stuff is possible in Hearthstone. Although at the same time, what Hearthstone is trying to do is like be this dormant game that barely just throws new things into the mix. And can't even maintain twist format, for fuck's sake. Which would actually showcase... Yeah, it's fucking crazy. Anyways. Hearthstone is guilty of the same thing. I was just stripping away features. I just realized. Fuck me, man. Reynads don't get the same disease. It's Hearthstone disease. You don't understand. It's from Hearthstone. Alright, we undug the mythical Hearthstone disease. We need a sin counter go up. Oh, this is more reasonable. Burn based on the day count. with the leftmost. Very similar. I still love the possibility to extend the sandstorm to something else.
Each fight you get that much.
And even being able to resist sandstorm, by the way. Just a very basic ability, but super cool, right? Like, sandstorm should feel like a physical effect, not just like an inevitable death penalty that you cannot interact with. It should be something you can equip against, even, and use it
When you use a
for your
vehicle and
advantage.
let's try that.
And it's the greatest decision making of all time to try and calculate how many battles would go to sandstorm. With not many, like 1 out of 5, maybe.
Let's go ahead and
You can push, and you have to have a very defensive build.
fight this.
The scary thing about attributes is the more you have them, if you can stack the overflow, right? Attributes. But at the same time, the same happens with skills. In the current game, you're overflowing skills and they just become smaller, right? So I might just fucking steal this idea just to give a middle finger at this point. But I don't know if I'll be able to, my game's gonna be different.
I like okay.
Yeah, I think what also was not really explored, but to some extent it was, this has like a cooldown of 14 seconds. And imagine if this like a somewhat of a scaling item. A scaling item that has like a large cooldown. No, it was explored. It was a pretty interesting part of BAZAAR. The crane is one of the craziest ones in that sense. The next one that comes to mind that's like viable is plasma rifle. So I guess it's not that big of a deal. What
Great
the
done.
fuck?
So
Okay, so it's a skill-ish thing. I think what Raynet did not take into account is that, yeah, over time you would buff your items like this. And he's trying to take that into account, but like even with Curio, you would buff your items, and it's very difficult to swap out the items at that point. You're just stuck. Unless the items you can buy are already buffed and already have extra abilities than just baseline. I'm not sure how you balance that, and I'm pretty sure it's just going to keep getting better.
items.
So I'm not going to dive too deep. This is a very,
Must
very
spend 2 gold
basic
to give 8 damage to this thing.
set of choices. Cost altitude. Yeah, altitude is just super sweet. And it just feels like they stripped away that shit so hard. Like, what, we'll never get the joy and altitude things? Because where would you put them? What's going on, right?
Do it.
Maybe that's why all the other classes just disappeared. Oops. That would be crazy, bro. If they just toss that out. We don't know.
Don't have a way.
The armor is definitely not something how I expected this to work.
To
Spend corpses to summon a ghoul.
so he actually started at 20 health.
What? You have to heal even before player battle? Get the fuck out of here.
Didn't heal. Basically just decided like, okay, I'll intentionally lose the first fight. Sometimes players do that.
That was stupid, yeah. That polish is pretty good, though. Or they just battled a monster and they couldn't find a healer. Let's be more generous.
Yeah, the game will be free to play. Maybe in that case, it's better not to waste money healing up, which is kind of why he started that fight at 20 health, just to save 1 gold, basically. Which is smart, This is definitely not like a regular play pattern that you want to like.
It's smart. He's so high ranked, Raynet is, where he finds smart
Bro
people
fights,
now.
but... I've never tried Observatory before.
Cost 4 altitude instead of ammo. Burn for every small item, for every medium item you freeze. That's a very cool item, unfortunately.
Or it also lands. It's a very complicated item right now. It's too many words.
Too many words, guys. That's the problem. It's a large item. You can chill, Reyna. It can have that many words, I think. This seemed normal when I looked at it, but now that Raynet says something, whoops. I mean, it repeats item opponent owns, so you can probably find a smart way to not repeat that.
Problem.
Oh, it's an opponent owns? Fuck that shit. I always want to like go back, but fine. It's cool. It's still a cool
more sense by the time. I'm sure I'll buy an observatory because it looks cool. What
For every, it just still
really
seems
need
like a
a
cool
way to-
effect, but it could definitely use on my side of the board. How about that? I mean, checking my side of the board in terms of what items I have.
make my
I feel like Blowtorch never really
altitude go
changed.
up?
More skills. The first time any players burned days, when you land, give your items 1 ammo. What the there's already ammo, okay. When you gain altitude, 8 health. I don't know what that means, because it doesn't say what to do with those 8 health. In the start of the day, permanently increase this item's value by the number of items you own. There are ways to get more gold out of an item over time.
Cooldown's 4 seconds, so I'm going to use this twice to get to 4 altitude, and then that's 8 seconds in. So then after 9 seconds, this is going to go off and use the altitude, and then it's just like more like in your head numbers management than I would like.
Well, the item could wait, fully charged, wait until you get the altitude as well, matched. There doesn't have to be too much calculation.
But it's some players like that, you know.
Get extra choice on all events. Like, imagine that. Imagine getting extra choices. Jeez. Upgrade lowest cost item. Yep. There should be like ability to easily upgrade bronze items when it's like a silver tier days coming up. It would cost you a lot of money to upgrade, because you found the item that you want, and it's very difficult to find a person that can upgrade that item. Let's pretend, right? But it should still be available as an option. If people pick it, good option. But I still believe in more like upgrading in tiny ways instead of just strictly jumping ranks between items. I'm not sure how I will do it, to be honest, if I copy this mechanic yet.
Let's see.
I mean, in Pokemon, you have evolutions, right? So that kind of matches up with tiers of an item, but for every item to have a higher tier, that might be the hardest problem to solve of like how I want to do this.
Fuck.
When you take damage from a weapon, days. Very different, Eels. It's like they have rotated mechanics because they still couldn't pump out enough pictures and items. Like, what? Why change things so much? I'm gonna give it a sin. We never got to see Eels until now.
What's the
Oh no!
face hunter of this
Pufferfish.
game? I guess it's like strength build.
It's pufferfish. I feel like it looked prettier back then. Just gotten smaller. And happier. Fuck that shit. just the art of pufferfish, bro. The most notorious card that we would have seen it differently. The angry pufferfish. Let's go, bro.
Vanessa,
so
probably.
much cooler.
It's a bunch of like aggro.
I want him to hover over pufferfish
Hit
so
him fast
much,
and
but
hard.
it's not gonna
That works.
happen.
It's pretty strong right now in this build. I actually think we have to nerf it a little. Fuck you, Gulch.
Are you sure, Raynette? Is that the problem? Gulch is the problem. Pufferfish poisoned him. But 3 years ago, it was a problem. That is the best thing I've ever seen, guys. For 3 years, Pufferfish has been dominating the metagame We just didn't knew. Ogres, bro. Faces the place.
I think it will be the best card game on the market when it's out.
Not if I release my card game. Well, not on the market. I don't know how to do that.
No,
That is crazy. For 3 years, nobody fucking made a good enough card game to get to this level. Even. Is what it is, boys. We're on top of the mountain. From my perspective, at least.
different, and they'll be like animated if you own the premium version, right? And then the compression
Okay,
issue,
whatever. It's just a feature they took away from us because it's
will be
premium.
gone, so everything will just yeah, we thought about benches. They do some good things because, like, in theory, they encourage you to churn out your build, but it's not worth the UI trade-off, I think.
Does that mean you talked about stash? Because I'm not sure what bench means.
That to a player,
Oh.
good
Wait.
UI trade-off, I think. But you can't, like, tell that to a player because players just want more fucking features.
Where's my features, Rayned? Where are they? Ooh, you can go thick when you have no locked slots. Damn. Alright. You can even use that mechanic. Even more than I thought you could.
Because they don't understand.
For every locked slot, deal 2,000 damage. Let's go.
Yeah.
And then when you unlock the slots, it's a useless item.
Mobile would be scuffed.
Yeah, he's now complaining about bench in so many ways, trying to get rid of that idea. But we still got it.
Don't.
Multicast equal to the number of items the opponent owns. It looks so fucking badass, though. I feel like we do have Vortex Cannon, and it doesn't look like that. It has the word Vortex, so I gotta click, man. It's a sin not to have this. Charge this? What?
And then it's like, unless I
Charge and advance exist at the same time. Oh! It actually corrects itself when you advance item.
mouse over them, you can't read. It looks like a good game, and it's like better than what people expected at this stage, which is like cool. But it's like it's gonna, blow people's dicks off when it comes out. Like, it's gonna be way better looking than people expect.
Because it's gonna be horny. Way better than expected. That's about it.
To be the gameplay better now, which is cool. So yeah, Guide the Weeper. I get Ectoplasm. Ectoplasm removes status effects, which is a pretty unique effect in the game. It's like the only item that does that.
I wish I could remove poison. Or is this uniqueness somehow translated into something cool?
Chose to pick more scaling options, so you were like weaker earlier. It's like, it's not. I don't know that it would be good to match people exactly based on how many fights they've lost. It's like matching Battlegrounds opponents based on who has the closest in health.
Well, that's another one of those very complicated problems to solve and test. The levels of happiness of people with matchmaking. And it's not like I'm gonna have matchmaking necessarily at the start.
Found.
Yeah, all I've learned in life is like, don't necessarily try and help other people too much when you can help yourself and solve your own problems for yourself. So until I have matchmaking, I don't give a fuck. Unfreeze a frozen item. Here you go. I know shit like this exists, but shit like this is somehow not competitive. I wonder why. Because they don't scale, I think. And you cannot react to your opponent, so... And in this situation, you don't even have a bench. Okay, now it's getting kind of repetitive for every item you own and all that kind of stuff being taken advantage of. Is getting boring. When you gain 20 altitude, base cooldown becomes 5. Even though he had small numbers for like attack damage, technically, the Cooldown is ridiculous.
Tethers is kind of cool. I'm actually going to sell this because it wants me to get a bunch of altitude. I'm going to buy tethers instead. And what I'm going to do is... It's a rare...
Fucking altitude is so complicated and so cool. At this point, it was bigger sin than we ever thought it would be. Fucking firebombed it. Look at this shit. Honestly, we haven't seen something quite like this. Fuck you, man. This is something I was hoping the game would have. Just like fucking smash with insane burn from one item, but it's not scalable or anything. It's just like you can have an item like this for like 2 battles.
From
Fire bomb!
Get from killing
Fire bomb!
Which
let's go, bro.
Builds. It's kind of cool. We've been able to like insert
what?
These like
there you go.
They almost feel like side should be able to self-correct. Like if there's some poison build that everyone's trying to get for whatever reason, A, it's really hard to get because there's no like reroll button that's always available to you.
Proper fish on every build, bro.
But B, you can just go like get ectoplasm, and it
you can get that obscure item from a very rare event, guys. I swear you can counter the meta builds if you really try. That shouldn't be the way the game is played at all. Like, you shouldn't focus on countering meta game in the first place. Because you just don't know how much you're gonna encounter. Even if it's 50% metagame and it's good to have an item, then yeah, like, that makes sense if it's just like a small item. Yeah, there's issues with that. Let's not dive into that. Well, yeah, it's nice to give people
options. I want to kill Oasis Guardian
sure.
If you beat him with a ghost that has like a broken old item, I don't know, maybe the rule should just be like it's preserved in its old state.
No.
The way it works right now, if you update an item, it also updates it on old ghosts.
And that's it, that's fine. Why did he have doubt in this?
So that's like...
He is surrounded by a lot of like these high-level game devs. It's a big deal when you're learning a skill, you know?
Will there be specific... Yeah,
I am just self-taught, but at the same time I can look at the produce.
Some items are going to have unique and a change about...
Why is everything red on the opponent's
now and release?
Is it burning?
There's going to be pretty aggressive.
Yeah, it's such a big deal about BAZAAR to just like eat food. And this really strains my need for, you know, go to a food place as well. Like it would be such an expensive place to just like actually walking around. On one side you can always test your skills, on the other side you can always replenish your health. I feel like that's a big deal.
Like that.
Missing. Yeah, before the player encounter you can definitely eat the emergency food. That's a little bit more expensive. How about that? Like, money should be like really heavily used. BAZAAR is an inspiration to like India, right? Where the biggest feature is always going to be food that you can buy to replenish energy. That's everywhere laid out for you.
Which is kind of why, like,
and in more intense scenarios, they will mark up the food price because they know you need it.
I mean, it's like it's really gonna be like proper AAA. Like,
okay, shut the fuck up about the looks, bro. It barely is different. What the hell, man?
Hearthstone's gonna look like a...
It's, I mean, honestly, yeah. It's still a big deal how it looks like. And to get to that level, but like it's not gonna be the thing that gives the game most fuel. Regeneration to your altitude. Super cool.
Alright, really don't sell.
Damn, I'm so excited to make my own game right now. I'm seeing the vision just come to full speed. I can't wait to just even talk about it. Give you guys mock-up ideas. I'll be an asshole and dump my load right now. So because my game is a scoring system, right? But it's this basically a force field item. You set up a flag of 100 points. And it gets reduced every time your opponent gains score, right? So in one turn he gets 50 points. It's stupid without enough context. But let's say just a small item that generates 50 points if your opponent doesn't score enough points. Force field works a very similar way where you stacking shield and your opponent can remove the shield. But force field is an ugly fucking item.
Gonna burn me
That's very difficult to balance.
for 10, but
Use all your other weapons? Fuck yeah, dude. That sounds pretty cool. Has ammo. Which way is better? I mean, the initial design was the idea that just boom, everything goes boom. You know? Seemed more visually straightforward.
I'm hoping I...
And now it's just a mock-up of the fucking cutlet. Cutware? Is that a word? Yeah, it's just a large cutware item. Even bug report is better. Oh my god, you can select category and take a screenshot. How dare you, Reynad? Bug report was better.
Mechanism is not working.
Keyboard warrior, activate. Absorbs all the damage that would be dealt to you for 5 seconds. What? We don't have this feature.
Dude, it had a crazy high value, so I also needed to sell it at some point. Yeah, I'm wrecked. No. Couldn't get lightning rod to go off.
Balloon tower.
Fucking get rid of lightning rod.
Oh man. The price does not go down of an item when you purchase it. A little weird.
That's
Get wrecked, Raynads. To quadruple your altitude. Deal damage to twice your altitude. Yeah, linear altitude builds seems pretty OP.
all altitude damage.
We don't get to see any more encounters, which is kind of sad. I was hoping that there's even more sins hiding somewhere. But Reyna did not take any interesting pathways. So as I told you, the attribute stuff is the biggest deal. That was scrapped all of a sudden. And the joy thing.
More items.
A channeling item every 3 seconds. What? So why does it not have cooldown? You get to activate an item when you meet a certain condition, and then it channels somehow. But it's still fairly unique, I think.
I mean,
Even though it's altitude requirements only.
point where regeneration
Mystical upgrade.
Advance adjacent items 10 seconds.
This upgrade, final upgrade, I believe, mechanic is just like, there were so many choices. What the hell? Right now we just have poison, fire, enchant, and then invulnerability, and it feels like that's it. Or like shields. I don't think damage is possible with enchants. What is this one? Oh, turbo, look at that, minus 5 seconds.
Awesome.
Oh my god, ability to reduce cooldown just by upgrading the item. Wow, I wish I could do that. Instead, we have feathers, obviously. Very interesting. Definitely a sin when you think about feathers, bro. Cooldown reduction from feathers. What was the bright idea of feathers reducing? What the fuck, man? The speed was the correct way of doing it. Even if it's ugly. 3 years ago, this was a normal game, and oh, I need to polish and make it look better than Hearthstone bullshit. It is, when you uncover this sort of idea as like such a dramatic moment, such a hightail drama of trying to perfect things, but then it just strips away your features. Like, what? It reminds me of something. Okay, this is a horror thing, but You know, ugly plastic surgery is definitely a thing. Before and after, she lost all the glossiness, bro. Holy shit. More reading, boys. First time you use an item, use it again. This is the more interesting one. Extra life, extra gold, but this use an item twice.
Game, they don't.
By the way, I don't know what that means sometimes. Does it use the first ever item, or anytime an item is used for the first time? But all of them can be used for the first time. I don't know, bro.
Really work with my current plan so much.
It has to be clarified, guys. More skills. Burn gives altitude. Fuck yeah, dude. Cooldown of shiny and fancy items reduced by 1 second. Such a weird one. There were so many skills, it feels like. What the fuck? Bruh. We get 3 heroes and 10% of skills.
Let's see. When you burn the opponent. I like Flash Grenade a lot. I think you can throw it into pretty much any build. It's just so much.
Well, not anymore, because the power level is so insane. So much dazing for 12 seconds. Yeah, and now it's expected that you will have a way to cheat ammo somehow. So it got nerfed to oblivion. Ugh. I feel like the ammo cheesing is definitely not a feature that I like at all.
When you're...
It could be solved by separating ammo with something else.
Which is like probably a little...
What is that? Scaling balloon tower?
Balloon tower.
Yeah, I was scaling. Or gain shields.
We have 178 regen, so every second we heal for 200 health. This is
oh man,
like good.
You broke the game.
Keith, you can. He needs to do like a bunch of burst damage.
Who's gonna die from sandstorm?
And the sandstorm does like big tick marks, but it's gonna be hard for him to do. Yeah, it's just regeneration versus the world right now. A lot of my fights drag out like this. I don't really have the damage to take him out, but second I heal to full health. So he needs to deal 600 in a 1 second window.
Fucking hell, bro.
What a crazy fight.
You could have embraced madness at the end. Total speed of both players. At the start of fight, use this. Why don't we have more of that shit, you know? Start a fight, use.
Let's fight Dan. I feel like I've been fighting against his build so much in the last couple of runs, but that...
Fuck that. That shitty matchmaking system.
It's just because it's money. I'm gonna go on a safari, actually, because maybe we get a monster with a good skill. And we did, boss hero. Pretty sure.
The other ones seem extremely basic enemies. It would be kind of cool to select how many like snakes you want to fight all at once. And then you get slightly better poison, you know, upgrade.
Sure.
Wow, another genius, bro. Day 1, you did so many misplays. What the fuck, bro? And then immediately makes a fucking conclusion that I'm a bad player or something. Well-oiled machine. Gear or tool charges something to the right. You can upgrade skills, right?
There's nothing to upgrade.
What do you mean there's nothing?
Ah, screw it. I guess we get a gold.
I still think that current skills are so lackluster that just reading through them the second time. Oh, like he has already a copy of Sonic Boom. Technically, I would imagine, based on the picture. But why would he have that? At the same time, it makes no sense, actually. What is piercing? 3 piercing? Half piercing? What? Wait. Oh, so it basically ignores shield, maybe?
Him, you get Feast of...
This game still does not have, like, actual armor, which would be like a mix of regen and armor. Let's say you put 30 shield every single time, you almost always attempt to have it. Whenever you don't, but it can be broken through, and then it just kind of regenerates. It's sort of like reducing the damage for like a second. It regenerates, so it would be effective against like daggers and blades and all that kind of crap. Small enemy weapons, but when you get blasted with something big, maybe you can use a skill dodging or something. Like, there's so much cool stuff you can think of with just the simple combat outlook like this.
Champion thing. It was kind of
Wait, he didn't lose. He didn't lose this time, and the video was over basically. Oh, we got to see some additional sins, I guess. Mostly from skills, items, and altitude. Okay, this is a good ending for the video.
try to like line up a better matchup for yourself. Sometimes I would do this thing. It was kind of cool. This one time I had caltrops, which is like a reactive item. It's like when your opponent attacks you, it hits them. And my build was all in on caltrops. So if they didn't have weapons, I was like fucked. So I would just like farm Vanessa every time because she has a bunch of little weapons, and everybody would lose to caltrops. But I was like, I built like a counter build, and then I queued it into a specific class over and over, and that was kind of like, I don't know if it's a good or bad play pattern. We'll see. It was definitely interesting. I had fun. So
It's just to reiterate the point that it's nice to have counter items, but without being able to see your opponent's build or choose to run away from it, well, this play pattern cannot even exist at the moment. See you guys next time. 100 sins, pretty much, you can tell. Now, there's not that many features, but goddamn, like by the launch, we all expected more, I feel like. Damn.